that is for just one age or the other. It's all good stuff. So I'm going to read 1 Samuel 31, and I'm just going to read the chapter. It's pretty short, and then I'll explain what I'm getting after. Now the Philistines were fighting against Israel, and the men of Israel fled from before the Philistines and fell slain on Mount Gilboa. The Philistines overtook Saul and his sons, and the Philistines killed Jonathan and Abinadab and Malchishua, the sons of Saul. The battle went heavily against Saul, and the archers hit him, and he was badly wounded by the archers. Then Saul said to his armor-bearer, "Draw your sword and pierce me through with it. Otherwise these uncircumcised will come and pierce me through and make sport of me." But his armor-bearer would not, for he was greatly afraid. So Saul took his sword and fell on it. And when his armor-bearer saw that Saul was dead, he also fell on his sword and died with him. Thus Saul died with his 3 sons, his armor-bearer, and all of his men on that day together. When the men of Israel who were on the other side of the valley, with those who were beyond the Jordan, saw that the men of Israel had fled, and that Saul and his sons were dead, they abandoned the cities and fled. Then the Philistines came and lived in them. It came about on the next day, when the Philistines came to strip the slain, they found Saul and his 3 sons fallen on Mount Gilboa. They cut off his head and stripped his weapons and sent them throughout the land of the Philistines to carry the good news to the house of their idols and to the people. They put his weapons in the temple of Ashtaroth, and they fastened his body to the wall of Bethshan. Now when the inhabitants of Jabesh Gilead heard that the Philistines had done to Saul, all the valiant men rose, walked all night, took the body of Saul and the bodies of his sons from the wall of Bethshan, and they came to Jabesh and burned them there. They took their bones and buried them under the tamarisk tree at Jabesh and fasted 7 days. So the lesson that the gospel kids were meant to glean from that was during the downfall of Saul, the first lesson was his first rebellion against the Lord was when he sacrificed the animal prematurely because Samuel was kind of late and all of his men were abandoning him. And he rationalized and convinced himself and lied to himself that he was doing a righteous thing, because Samuel was failing, he was going to step up, and he convinced himself that his plan was better than God's plan. And from there, we all know the story of King Saul. It went way downhill, and eventually he died. And that leads to the second lesson the gospel kids went over, which is that sin never just hurts yourself. There's a lot of people in this world that are okay with sinning, and they're okay with harming others. But there are some people in this world that can convince themselves that, well, yeah, I know it's bad for me, but that's okay, because if it's just hurting me, who cares? As long as it's not hurting somebody else. That's how many times have you heard that argument for just about every single worldly thing on the planet? It's like, well, it's not hurting you, so what's your problem with it? And the truth is that sin of any kind destroys everything and everyone that is around. And Saul and his rebellion led to the death of his sons, one of whom we know for sure was a very righteous and godly man that did not deserve to die, led his sons, and his soldiers to die. Jonathan was David's best friend, and he died in that battle because of Saul's sins. Saul's sins caused irreparable damage to his family and their lineage. And so like I said, it's pretty short, but it's just a reminder that when you're sinning, you're not only sinning against the Lord, but you also are damaging those around you, those that love you, and you're also sinning against God, and that's not good. So don't forget that. Don't rationalize in your mind and lie to yourself and convince yourself that something's okay when if God says it's not, it's definitely not. And there's consequences whether you see him or not. And so stay vigilant, stay strong. Be like these men after, everything had gone horribly wrong. They still risked their lives to go and give Saul, who didn't deserve it, a proper burial because they were righteous and valiant men that wanted to honor their king and their leaders. And so be like them, even though the people around us are not always staying true to the word. I'm going to close in prayer, and then we'll have a song. Dear God, thank you for this day. Thank you for the opportunity to just read your word. Lord, it's always a privilege and it's always an honor. I pray that, you will help us to hold the line of faith.